So we got our Tropica order in last week, and I am super excited to be doing this video today because we're doing it on Pogostemon Helferi, also known as Downoi. And that's this little guy right here. So what's going on, guys? It's Justin from H2O Plants, and today we have a very cool plant. I am super excited to finally be able to not only show it to you, but also to be able to tell you, hey, we're selling this now, so you could get it. So one of the main reasons why we started selling Tropica plants was mainly because of this plant. Other plants too, but this one was one of them. It is nearly impossible to find this guy grown in pots, not tissue culture, in the United States. It is like, I haven't found any vendor in the last couple of years selling this plant at a rather large scale and not as tissue culture. So it's really cool that Tropica does offer this plant specifically, and now it's going to be more readily available to the masses here in the United States. Overseas, it's probably much easier to get this plant, but in the United States, it's really hard to find this guy. I can't tell you how difficult it is. Now, there are a couple different variations of this plant. I used to have the red one where it has the red centers. This is the normal one. So Pogostemon Helferi, also known as Downoi, also known as Little Star. It goes by a couple different names, but all in all, it's the same plant. It's a very beautiful plant. As you can see here, try and get a close-up of it for you. It has like riffly leaves. It sends out offshoots like this. It is a stem plant. So what's really cool about this guy is it's easy to propagate. All you need to do is essentially trim off each stem. So if you were to take this little side shoot and trim it down here and replant it, it'll grow a whole new plant. So it's a really cool plant just because it is a stem plant, so it's easy to propagate. And it can be used in many different cases. So you could either use this as a carpeting plant if you really wanted to. Now, it does grow really slow, so it may take a little while to get going, but once it does, it kind of takes off. Then the best thing I could recommend is don't move these guys around. Once you plant them, leave them be. Don't be shifting these around. I mean, you shouldn't be shifting any plants around, but they really don't like being shifted around. The other thing you could do is use these guys as a mid-ground plant to create nice little bush effects. So, you know, they really do look like little bushes, especially once they're growing under a good enough light. They really start to kind of compact more rather than stretch out. So you can see this guy right now stretching out a little bit. The leaves are kind of a little bit more spaced out than they should be, and that's because it's growing under a low to medium light. If you want to grow these guys, they do specify on the Tropica tag that they're medium, so you do want to be growing these under medium to high light. So if you have a really low light aquarium, probably not going to work for you. Medium light at least. And then also, CO2 is kind of like a kind of hard thing to describe with this plant. I've grown it without CO2, and it did just fine. But it did die back. Mainly, I want to blame it because lack of maintenance on the aquarium that it was growing in when we had it. You know, probably almost a year ago we had it growing in one of the tanks, and it didn't do so well, mainly because lack of maintenance on the tanks. Like we've gone over in previous videos, we took down a couple of these tanks because of lack of maintenance. So I don't think it's a lack of CO2. I just think it was a lack of maintenance. But you know, do keep in mind if you were to get this guy, it may need CO2. So maybe try one pot, see if it grows. Here's the good thing: it has so many little branches in here that if this guy takes, you're gonna have probably like 8 to 10 plants that you'll be able to trim off of this within a month, and then that will just duplicate and duplicate. And that's the other good tip to this guy, is trim often. So anytime you see offshoots coming off of it, definitely cut them and relocate them elsewhere. It'll allow the plant to continuously get bushy, and the more you trim it, the hardier it's going to get, and like the more it's going to branch out. If you don't trim it that often, what's going to happen is it's not going to grow as fast, and it may actually start shading the bottom leaves and not allowing them to really grow, and it'll start thinning out. So really trim often. I mean, once it doubles, I wouldn't even say doubles, once it gets like 50% of what it used to be, definitely trim it back and take the different branches and plant them elsewhere. And let me just preface this is not a plant for fish that are nibblers. So goldfish, definitely not. Cichlids, definitely not. This is ideal for nano aquascaping, beta fish. If you have like a medium to high light for them, definitely could go in a beta fish tank. It could go in any small community tank fish, but any plant or any fish that is prone to picking at plants, definitely not. This guy is super fragile. But really, that's it. This is a super cool plant. I think it's honestly like, everybody asks me like, what's your favorite plant? And I always kind of seem to gravitate towards Boost and Anubis. But this is like, if I had to pick a stem plant, this is it. Like, this is my favorite plant, just because of the way it looks. It is harder to grow than most other plants. You know, we wouldn't say it's exactly in the easy spectrum, but it is fairly easy. It's not, you know, the most beginner-friendly plant, but if you're looking to kind of try something new and you haven't had a chance to get yourself some Downoi yet, definitely take a look at the website. I think we got about 15 pots of this in, and surprisingly, they haven't sold out. They've been on there for almost a week now. So there's still some left. Check them out. Get them while you can. So definitely get some now. There will be more probably in the future, but you never know when, you know, they'll run out of stock, especially if it sells really good. So, but definitely pick yourself up some if you have a medium to high light. Very cool plant. If you can manage to grow it, you're going to be very happy with it. So, with all that said, if you have Downoi, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of it. If you don't, let me know if you're thinking about getting it. And this is the video before Christmas, so I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on what you celebrate. Come here. You want to do the outro? Okay. So, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to check out any of our previous videos, click either one of those, and we will see you guys next time. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh my God, now you're really going to give views. Yay, we did it.